All right, hello everybody, welcome back. This is the NW Sportscast. No Drew today, so I'm filling in. We got Lorenzo, we got Alex, our two special guests. They're basically part of the team now. We have them on so often. So you guys, let us know down in the comments that show
Who's
Alex and
better?
Lorenzo some love because it's good to have them on. So today we're doing our final NFL draft recap, going through all 32 teams and just giving our grades and talking about whether we think that this draft improved the team, made them worse, or didn't make them any different. So starting off with the Denver Broncos, first round, obviously going with Pat Surtain. What do you guys think about this pick?
It was honestly, I feel like the Denver Broncos, although he's a good cornerback, Justin Fields was still on the table. And the big talk is whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to leave Green Bay. And I feel like as a Denver Broncos fan, you've got to be like optimistically suspicious, because if they're not able to get Aaron Rodgers, now they have Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock and a crazy corner. So, I mean, it's really, they weighed the options here and they went with the defensive player. I thought they should have gone with Fields, but in my opinion, I mean, it's a good pick for the defensive players they were left with.
Yeah, I've already seen mock drafts having the Broncos as getting the number one pick next year. So there's some people that are not high on the Broncos at all, and of course they have them selecting a quarterback. I don't actually know who the quarterback they're saying is going to go number one is next year, but yeah, I mean the Broncos made an interesting move. I think Drew Lock is not their guy, and neither is Teddy Bridgewater. So maybe this is a move that suggests that they are really trying to get Aaron Rodgers, and that's what I've been seeing a lot of rumors lately.
Yeah, I see them as a 7-9 team basically, but Patrick Surtain it's a good pick, but it comes with you're passing on Justin Fields, so it's really a 50-50 pick. It all depends on if Aaron Rodgers will go to Broncos or not.
Yeah,
big pick. You were just talking about quarterbacks that may be in the next draft. You have Spencer Rattler coming out of Oklahoma. Then you have the surprising prospect out of North Carolina, Sam Howell, who's been playing pretty well. So I mean,
there's a guy from Liberty, Liberty
him.
University. He's the one that I've seen that is being projected as number one, and I had never even heard of him.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati, Kendon Slovis from USC. And then Malik Willis from Liberty.
Yes,
I've heard about him.
Malik Willis. So I don't know. I don't actually know who he is or how good he is, but supposedly he's good. So the rest of the Broncos draft, they went with a running back, Javonte Williams, position ranked 3. So he's a good running back. I don't know how much they needed a running back, right? They already had Lindsey and Gordon. So with 2 solid running backs, they add a third one.
But Lindsey's been injury ridden. And
that's true.
And Melvin Gordon, he's getting old, and he's been on and off with the law and with football. And I feel like this was definitely a good blanket pick or a cover pick for if something were to happen.
Yeah, and I think he'll develop into a very, very good starter. And you, instead of trying to reach for a running back in the first round, you go with a second round running back, which is a much better place to pick one. So I think it's a great value overall.
Yeah, then they went with Quinn Mariners. I think that's how you pronounce it, Quinn Mayners. That's a compensatory third-round pick. Overall ranking was 61, so supposedly this is a steal of a pick, right?
Yeah.
He fell a full round. Getting an offensive guard, I mean, that's always good. Like the old slogan says, you can never have too many offensive linemen.
My thing is, are the offensive guards going to go to waste when you've got a quarterback in Drew Lock and or Teddy Bridgewater who isn't the greatest quarterback? I mean, they don't run, so I mean, good pass protection will definitely give them more time to throw, but it's Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater throwing, so it's kind of
you're also building for the future. If
True.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't go there.
Yeah, and then the rest of their drafts, they kind of just went with filling needs. You got Baron Browning, a linebacker, Caden Stearns, a safety. Then they went for another safety and Jamar Johnson. Jamar Johnson really fell. He was ranked in 91, so he was seen as a sort of a late third rounder. He goes in the fifth. That was through a trade, actually. Then they get another wide receiver, Seth Williams. He probably won't play much next year. Usually late
I don't
round
know why they
receivers don't
picked a
play.
wide receiver.
I mean,
The
this is
Broncos
probably
loaded up on wide receivers last year. They have KJ.
this is probably a
Hamler.
practice squad guy,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, they have KJ Hamler. Then they have Jerry Judy. They have
And don't forget Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton, him too.
And then seventh round, they had 3 seventh-round picks this year. They got a cornerback, a defensive end who was ranked 300, so they reached on him, and another D end who was ranked 316. So they kind of reached on those last 2 picks.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a
And
picture.
yeah, and I really like Caden Stearns as a pick. I think he'll be a great fit for the Broncos. And maybe, you never know, the no-fly zone might come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so overall, what would you grade this draft?
B-.
I'd give it I'd give it a B- as well, or a C+.
Yeah, I think I'm
Because
gonna
they
go
addressed
with,
things, but they didn't address the important things. Like when you think about it, the Broncos have a pretty loaded secondary already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be fair.
So
I
I'd
think
give it a C.
I'm gonna call it a B. You know, I think Surtain is a good pick. The running back a little bit interesting. They had a couple of reaches there at the end, but I like the Quinn Miners pick a lot. And I do think that Surtain will be good. And clearly they think they don't need a QB this year. So
The picks they really hit on are definitely the running back and then the guard.
yeah. So they went 5-11 last year. Early prediction for next year. I'm gonna go with 5-12 because it is a 17 game. So I think they get the same amount of wins and add 1 more loss. 5-12.
I see they're gonna go 4-13.
Okay, so you're even
I think
lower
6-11.
All right. So we're all kind of in the same. We're all kind of in the same.
I don't think it will be a successful season though.
No.
I think this is definitely like a Jets rebuild type season.
Mm-hmm.
And they either go for the quarterback or they try and trade for one. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got the Seahawks. Only 3 picks for the Seahawks this year.
Oof. God.
Blaine Eskridge was our second round selection. I like this pick a lot. I've heard that a lot of people don't like this pick. We don't really needed it. We didn't really need a receiver, but we kind of did because we only had 2 receivers.
You had Terrence Marshall right there.
Yeah,
and you
true.
didn't pick him. Terrence Marshall.
I feel like the only reason that the picking a receiver is good is because we haven't really had to witness like DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett getting injured. Like they were both healthy for the majority of the season last year. And I think, yes, Terrence Marshall was there, but picking up any receiver in the second round is a good backup for, the 2 hit receivers you have. And I mean, who knows? Maybe you hit on Dwayne Eskridge as well. I definitely think that they should have gone with Terrence Marshall, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. I think a center would have been the best way to go. But, maybe Russell Wilson. I'm going to assume that Russell Wilson asked for a receiver because I really don't think they would go behind Wilson's back and pick something that he doesn't want. And I know he was complaining about the O-line, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that this was the pick that Russell Wilson wanted. Hopefully I'm right because if I'm wrong, there's going to be problems in the future. But, yeah, I mean, he looks like a fine player to me. Then we went with Trey Brown. And I don't know about this pick because he's 5'10", so he's going to be getting mossed a lot. I mean,
No, that's normal for a cornerback.
Most cornerbacks
5'10".
Most cornerbacks are 6 feet.
Yeah, but 5'10" is the same as 6 feet. It's a couple of inches for a cornerback.
No, 5'10" is in football
I'm
terms.
6'2" now, Alex.
In football terms, 5'10" is more like 5'8".
I'd like to bring up an old argument that Lorenzo and I once had on how 5'11" was nowhere near 6 foot.
But it was 6 foot.
Mm-hmm. Very contradicting, I see.
Now I'm going to be honest here. I think this probably was a reach of a pick. I know he's a 4th round, 138. That's pretty much late 4th round, early 5th. So we picked him around the right spot. I definitely like it more than Stone Forsythe. I mean, look at this guy. He's ranked 326 overall.
At that point, you guys are just trying to use the pick.
We took him in the 6th round, though. the 6th round should be guys who are ranked among the 200s. And his
no.
grade, look at his grade.
Oof.
30? 30. That is low.
This is
I don't know about this one. I heard Mel
Seahawks,
Kiper said some good things about him, but other than that,
the Seahawks turned to their general manager, their office, and they were like, "So, do we have another pick?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we got one in the 6th. Just go pick some random dude." And they picked up this guy, and he'll probably sit on the practice squad and then leave.
The funny thing is, we actually traded our 7th rounder to move up in the 6th round to get him. So clearly, we see something that other people don't see.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Yeah, maybe. So overall, what's your
I think the
pick?
Seahawks pick will be like the Eagles pick of JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Like Terrence Marshall will turn out really good.
Well, I hope not.
You mean Jalen Reagor?
I really do
Justin
think
Jefferson?
So. Yeah, basically.
Or we can just keep naming receivers.
Yeah,
we've done it over and over again.
We don't have to go.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside and DK Metcalf. We can keep rolling back.
So what's your guys' overall grade for this one? I'm giving us a B-. I like Eskridge. I'm a little confused on Trey Brown and Stone Forsythe, but I will say they get bonus points for not trading away and to get more picks because we didn't need a ton of picks this draft. We're a pretty complete team, and this is a pretty tough to evaluate draft class. So I like that we only went with 3 picks.
I'm going with a C- here. I mean, like Lorenzo said, Terrence Marshall was on the board. He's had like a better quarterback throwing to him, and as much as like a receiver really, as much as like how physical a receiver is, it really depends on how like the quarterback matters. And I'm just going to use the Eagles as an example. We saw that with Jalen Reagor, and the whole thing was the reason he could be iffy is because TCU did not have a consistent quarterback for the 4 years while he was there. You look at Terrence Marshall, and just last year he had Joe Burrow throwing to him. This year, it was a different quarterback, but still having that experience of being around those good receivers like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, I feel like Terrence Marshall is the definite better receiver because he has that talent and he has that background and he had that community to which he could relate to. And I feel like now that he's not stuck behind Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, this is when he really wants to like break out and show what he can do. So I feel like Dwayne Eskridge compared to Terrence Marshall, it's really a iffy pick there.
Well, those are some high words you have for Terrence Marshall. Why don't we wait to talk more about him when we get to his team?
I would give it a C.
Okay, Lorenzo gives it a C.
Yeah, but the only thing is I don't agree with that 5'10" is small for a corner. Like most corners are 5'10" or lower. There's not that many 6'1". That's why Ramsey, because there's not that many 6'1" corners in the NFL.
Oh, geez.
We know how much you love Jalen Ramsey. All right. So finally, 2020, we were 12-4. My prediction, we go 12-5 next year.
I'm gonna say 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 11-6, and Russell Wilson does does half of the season MVP and then just turns it around like every year.
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna say Russell Wilson's not gonna have an MVP season, but it's just gonna be consistent. And what's gonna really hurt the Seahawks is gonna be their defense again.
Yeah, that I would agree with
Russell
that.
Wilson's gonna have like a good 30+ touchdown season. Or I'll say 27+ touchdown season. He's gonna have a couple of turnovers, but what's really gonna define the Seahawks and their losses is gonna be their defense again. And that's something they didn't address in the draft, and that's why I gave it a C- as well.
No, but they finished strong with their defense, but I can see what you're talking about.
I mean, they finished strong with their defense, but
I mean, we're losing KJ Wright. That's going to hurt. And we're losing, I can't even remember. We're losing Shaq Griffin, so that's going to hurt as well. So,
yeah, Shaq Griffin, that's a big loss.
I'm definitely worried about our defense. Anyways, next up, we got the Washington football team. They made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks. So they made a ton of picks, including 3 in the 7th round. 1 in the 1st round was Jamin Davis, inside linebacker. They reached him a tiny bit, but he has a 90 grade position.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For a team that is
118 tackles last year.
He's the team, the Washington football team last year was defensively minded. It was their defense that they were riding on. And I feel like having such a versatile and athletic outside linebacker like Jamin Davis is going to pay dividends for them. And I feel like they're going to be able to definitely, like the NFC East, although they suck, they have some crazy running backs like Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, and Miles Sanders. And having a running back or a linebacker like this will definitely pay dividends in that running game. And plus, he's also able to get in the outfield and sort of guard those tight ends. And, he had a couple of picks at Kentucky. And so he's definitely a great player.
Yeah, I think the same as Alex. It's that I didn't think this defense could get much better, but it just did. They might finish as the best ranked defense next year. And I believe that they have a high chance of doing so. It's just a great pick.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that as well. And I love their next pick as well. Sam Cosby, the offensive tackle out of Texas. I thought this was another great pick as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I felt like that was actually a steal. Like I would see him going even earlier than 18th.
No hit, boys. Nearly perfect game, just a wild pitch away. How good we are. Let's go. Seth's commenting on the fact that hometown team Seattle Mariners got no hit today by the Orioles. By the Orioles, even better. Let's go. Woo! That's by John Means. John Means is a good pitcher. Anyways, back to this draft. So they ended up taking a cornerback, Benjamin St. Juste. This is a good pick as well. Grade is 75. Look, he's 6'3".
Big physical. Big.
6'3",
He's big.
202. They get a receiver. They don't really need a receiver, but always a good choice to get a receiver. Tight end,
that was a steal.
Safety. Then they took a long snapper. This is the first long snapper that was taken in the draft. Cameron Cheeseman. I've never heard of Cameron Cheeseman.
He's 6'4".
That's totally a long snapper name. Cameron Cheeseman. It's 230 pounds.
Right, go back to the wide receiver.
Finished his college career with 1 tackle.
Wait, didn't they draft
Go back to a wide receiver. That's a steal. That's a big steal.
Definitely.
I thought he was going to go early second, but he went down to 3rd round. He's a great wide receiver, and I think he's just gonna dominate with what's the other Washington's wide receiver?
They have McLaurin, right?
Terry McLaurin. And then who's the other guy? Sims?
Yeah, I think so.
2 Sims?
Maybe.
2 players.
So overall, draft grade for Washington football team.
A-.
I just give them an A, definitely. I mean, their first picks. Oof. Oh, yeah, that's right. Washington has Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries, and Terry McLaurin.
I'm gonna give them a B+. I like everyone they drafted, but I do wish they would have traded up to draft a quarterback because, to be honest, we're not going to win much games with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heinicke.
I'm interested to see where Taylor Heinicke goes, though.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how many games he actually starts this year, because I don't think there's going to be many. They definitely should have tried to make things better with Alex Smith, but he clearly did not want to play for that. All right, next up. Oh yeah, record 7-9. Next year I'm gonna predict them to go 6-11.
I'm gonna stay more optimistic. I'm gonna go 7-10, 7-10 or 8-11.
That's one game.
Or 8 and.
I don't know how optimistic that is. That's one game better.
I know, but I'm
gonna go on a limb and say 10-7. I think that their defense are gonna make close games, and that Tyler Heinicke is gonna win a couple of them because they're going to be under 20 points.
I have a bad feeling that Washington's going to turn out like Miami last year, where they're going to start with Fitzpatrick and they're going to bench him, and then Heineke's going to start, and then they're going to bench Heinicke, and then Fitzpatrick's going to start again, and then Heineke's going to finish out the season. And just
that's literally how every single team with Fitzpatrick goes. Remember 2019?
I feel bad for Tua.
Remember 2018?
But Miami did a good season.
Fitzpatrick gets benched and started and unbenched, and everywhere he goes, that happens to him.
Well, it's a new team, so, it's another one to add to his list.
Yeah, another one to add to his long list. All right, next up we got the Arizona Cardinals. They went with Zaven Collins in the first round. They made 7 selections overall. Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. He's the best outside linebacker in the draft. Yeah, this is a good pick.
Yeah, another beast from Tulsa. I mean, what can you say about him? It's a great pick. And now their defense is getting stronger and stronger, and their offense is also getting stronger and stronger with Rondell Moore. So
yeah, I have to say
nothing to
I'm not too sold on Rondell Moore.
No, but
He's only an
why?
81 grade. Okay, and he's
Yeah,
5'7". That's pretty darn short for a receiver. I'm sorry, but it's a little
It's a
short.
receiver.
I'm taller than him. I'm taller than him.
I'm taller than him. Okay, I'm taller than him.
Also,
So
they're comparing him to Tyler Lockett. It's okay.
they're
It's okay.
comparing him to Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella.
ooh,
I
don't know.
Isabella.
I thought he was more of a Tyler Lockett.
They already have Andy Isabella and Christian Kirk. They don't need another one named Rondell Moore. Plus you have
short and shorter. So shorter and shortest.
This is the team with one number one receiver, which with obviously Hopkins, and then they have three guys who are like sort of number three receivers, which is fine when you have Hopkins.
Whoa, what about Fitzgerald?
Is Fitzgerald even playing this year? I thought he retired.
Yes, he's still playing. He's on his 15th season. He's still chalking along.
Oh my goodness.
He's like 50.
I thought he was done.
I think he's like 38.
Oh wow.
Yeah. For a receiver, that's like being 60, to be frank with you.
So then
he's
we've got
37. Holy cow.
Marco Wilson, and then a couple of late round picks that don't really matter. They did
He's
draft
older than Calvin Johnson. And Calvin Johnson's already retired.
Well, did you know that Tom Brady is old? It was actually playing in the NFL at the time some of these draft picks hadn't even been born yet. So
yes, yeah.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
And did you know they're going to be talking about that for pretty much the next 20 years or so? Because they're never going to let people forget about that.
My concern for the Cardinals is, who did they take number one overall last year? Who's the guy from what was his name? The all-purpose player that they took last year.
Honestly, I don't remember.
Anyway, he was like, Cardinals first round pick 2020.
Oh, Isaiah Simmons.
Yes, Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a linebacker type character, and they were pairing him up with Jordan Reed, but he did not do well, and he got injured, and they did not play up. And so what I'm seeing here is that they're patching up a pick that didn't go well, and in my opinion, Jordan Reed's getting old anyway. I mean, he was on the Eagles and he was 33, so I feel like Zaven Collins is a perfect pick, but it's just who's he going to get paired up with in terms of what they're going to do with Isaiah Simmons, which will be interesting to see.
Well, yeah. Isaiah Simmons could come with his own personal package, so he wouldn't play like every snap. But on very special, down in distances, he could come in as a package, and he can play corner. I mean, the guy's still a weapon.
Yeah, definitely.
So final grades for them. I'm gonna give them I'll give them a solid B plus.
Yeah, I'll stick with a solid B plus as well. I think the linebacker is a good pick. The receiver is iffy, but I like the cornerback definitely after losing Patrick Peterson. So yeah,
I'm gonna go with an A because I really feel high about Rondell Moore.
Another 6-foot cornerback, by the way.
It's 5'10". It's okay. Oh yeah, 6 foot.
Who?
I'm just saying, 5'10" is pretty short for a corner.
No, that's normal for a corner. Corner's about feet and hips. It's not about size.
Tay Gowan is 6'1". So far, the only cornerback under 6 foot we've seen.
Yeah, but that's out of 4 draft picks.
Yeah, we'll see how we'll see how it continues. What was Surtain again? Surtain is 6'2". Okay.
Yeah, but he's a big boy cornerback. It's different.
And you got Trey Brown.
He doesn't look big though. Like Patrick Surtain.
He plays big.
Small.
Anyways, Arizona 8-8 last year. I'm gonna say they go 9-8 next year.
I'm going 11-6. I feel like they're gonna have a good season this year.
Yeah, and I still have to look at the schedules because I'm kind of just going off of this draft.
Well, I mean, they play the really weird like Seabirds. So I mean, that's a given win.
I don't know. Last year,
overtime victory because Russ can't cook in overtime.
Do you know which divisions play each other? Because if they're playing the AFC
Oh, I think
West, that's a bunch of losses right there.
Eagles schedule. I can check who the Eagles play. I'm pretty sure the Eagles play AFC. The Raiders are in AFC North, right?
AFC West.
AFC West. Oh, crap. Eagles 2021.
You guys played the North last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because we played the Browns.
Yeah.
We played the AFC North last year.
Yeah.
And we played
The
your division.
Steelers.
And we played the AFC.
Yeah, you played our division, the NFC West.
NFC West, sorry. All
Did
right,
you just
so
call us the
so we play-
AFC East?
We play the NFC South because we're playing the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Bucks. And then we play the AFC West because we play the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Raiders. And then there's some other teams.
Oh yeah, good luck against them. That's 4 losses, I'll tell you that. Broncos,
What?
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders.
With the Eagles?
Yeah, that's 4 losses.
You think we're going to lose to the Raiders?
We'll get to the Eagles pretty soon. Let's go to Atlanta. They get Kyle Pitts. Then they get
Beautiful.
Richie Grant, Jalen Mayfield, Darren Hall, and 5 more guys that don't really matter as much. So they end up with 9 picks in this draft. Kyle Pitts is the one that everyone is talking about. He was ranked at number 2 overall, graded as a 94, easily the best tight end in the draft. He is 6'6", 245 pounds. This is a muscle man. Kyle Pitts looks like a receiver, plays like a receiver, but he's also can block. So that's what makes him a tight end. Like he says right here, he's a hybrid tight end receiver with a rare blend of size, length, and top end speed.
I love
This
this
is a great pick.
And I feel like not only because of the player, but I mean, Matt Ryan's still a good quarterback. And I feel like giving him another 1 or 2 years is definitely good, especially with the offensive weapons he's now received. I feel like I'm hoping for an Atlanta turnaround. I mean, it's painful, even as a fan of another team, watching Atlanta just suck the way they do every year. And just they suck, and then they win like their last 3 games, and then everybody's like, "Oh, can they make it to the playoffs again?" And then they like lose their final game, and it's just terrible. And I really hope that Kyle Pitts breaks out like Julio Jones did in Atlanta, and that would just be beautiful. The chemistry between Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Matt Ryan, like, dude, that's just on fire. Like their offense is just smoking.
Yeah, they're gonna have a good offense. Plus, they bring in Arthur Smith as the coach. So this is a team that I think puts up a lot of points next year. I just don't know.
Their defense is
I don't know how many points they're gonna allow. They could allow a lot of points this year.
Yeah, and the only thing they need to focus on is Kyle Pitts blocking, because all they talk about is being a vertical threat, but he's not much of a blocker. Exactly. So you need to improve that. But other than that, it's generational. I mean, he's going to be one of the best tight ends.
Yeah.
For sure.
Richie Grant, another good pick, 53 overall ranking. So they reached him for him a bit, but still a solid player. And they did need a safety. Then they get Jalen Mayfield, O-tackle.
That's a good pick.
You can never really have too many O-tackles, and every team needs an O-tackle. Darren Hall, a 5'11" corner. So this is another corner that's a little on the short side, in my opinion. But, this is a little bit of a reach. Actually, a lot bit of a reach, because he's graded as a 35. He has 262 overall, and they took him at the start of the 4th round. So I don't know about this one. His below average length and frame hinder his ability to win 50-50 balls.
Oh, God.
He does have good stopping power for his size. So this is probably a guy who could be playing more in the nickel, which, I mean, I guess that's a fine pick. And then they get a center from Denver, and they got another cornerback. Look at that, Avery Williams. Okay, now this is actually short, 5'9", undersized with very short arms, and he's not even ranked. He's not even ranked, but he is a dangerous return man. 6 punt return touchdowns and 3 kickoff touchdowns. Yeah, he was not even. And Frank Darby, this was a steal because he's ranked at 137, and they get him in the 6th round.
Is that Ronald Darby's brother?
Maybe. I don't know. So that's interesting that the guy they picked ahead of him was not even considered a guy who's going to be drafted, and they picked him in the 5th round, and then they picked this guy in the 6th. I mean, that's how the draft works sometimes.
Interesting.
So overall grades, I'm gonna give them I'll go with B plus.
I'll go A-, because Kyle Pitts is really pulling that up to an A. He's like the kid in your class that's super smart and pulls up your grades, so A-.
Yeah, A-. Also for Richie Grant. I mean, that's a really good pick for the defense.
Yeah.
And predictions?
I'll say they were 4-12 last year, so I'm gonna say 6-11.
I'm gonna go 8-9.
Oh,
I'll go playoffs. 10-7.
I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I think I'll go 8-9.
Wow. I think with a
10-7.
first-year head coach, I always kind of err on the side of below 500, but you never know. There's
It's
always
still
a chance
below
that
500.
Yeah, that's true. Alex went up with 8 and 9, so that's true.
It's not even going to be possible to be exactly at 800.
I know you
Or
can't be
500.
500. Well, you could be 8 and 1.
But that's not exact.
You could also be 7 and 3.
But that's impossible to have 3 ties.
Or
not impossible.
6 and 5. Have you ever considered that?
Interesting. Tell me more.
All right, we'll go to Baltimore next. Baltimore, let's see here. They took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. They didn't get 2 of their needs, so that's a little scary for them. But they did get a wide receiver. They got their lineman, and they got their guard. Those are their first 3. Rashad Bateman, how about this guy?
He's a good
Big,
receiver,
physical.
but is he the receiver they need in Baltimore? That's my question.
Yes.
It kind of
Yes.
reminds me of the Marquise Brown pick from 2 years ago, right? A late first-round
No.
selection who's going to be a number 2 receiver most likely for their team.
It's that he has what Hollywood Brown doesn't have. He's a physical receiver.
Okay.
That's a good mix.
He's a good receiver, and definitely for late in the first, he's a good receiving pick because a bunch of the receivers went early. And so when looking for a good receiver, I think this is a great pick, especially late in draft or late in first round.
Yeah.
And the Penn State linebacker, he's raw talent. He's really athletic. Really athletic.
Let me tell you, this is one of the smartest trades that was made this offseason. The Ravens get a second first-round pick, which is honestly way more than they deserve for an aging Orlando Brown. And the Chiefs get Orlando Brown to fill in a gap that was much needed on their offensive line after they were humiliated in the Super Bowl because of all their injured linemen. So I love this trade for both teams. And then out of it, they get a linebacker.
The linebacker is great. He's probably the second best linebacker out of Penn State, Micah Parsons being number 1. But I mean, he's a great
He's
linebacker.
raw,
He's physical, and he's tall. He's tall, which means he's got long arms. He can get those running backs.
Here's another 6-foot cornerback.
They got Ty Wallace. That's a great pick as well.
Yeah, Tylan Wallace. I've heard that he's and look at this, 75. So he's projected to be a late or an early 3rd rounder. He goes in the late 4th round. So that is a pretty good steal of a pick. And I've heard that some teams actually thought Tylan Wallace is worthy of 2nd round. Nothing bad about this except for the fact that he's a little bit shorter, but he has good body control. And they like that he's a competitor when the ball's in the air. So, I mean,
being small is the last thing that matters for a wide receiver. I mean, you can be 5'5" and still be a great wide receiver.
And then take Sean Wade, another guy who kind of slid. He was ranked in 101, falls to the 5th round. Another 6'1" cornerback. So we're just kind of proving to Lorenzo that most of these cornerbacks are over 6 feet.
Look the average, Daniels.
And then we got Dalen Hayes and Ben Mason, the fullback. You don't see many fullback, but the Ravens seem like the type of team that would draft a fullback.
Whoa, he's the best fullback.
The best fullback in the draft.
That's a steal. That's a steal.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Best fullback. Let's go.
With a compensatory selection, they got the best fullback.
He's going to be like a Kyle Juszczyk.
Well, if they can get Kyle Juszczyk out of this guy, then That is a steal because Kyle Juszczyk is one of the better steals the 49ers have made in the recent history.
Ben Mason.
Ben Mason.
Coming out
All
of
right,
Michigan.
so final grade. I'm going to give them a – I mean, I thought it was a good draft. I'll give it a B.
I'll give it a B+. I think with the receivers pretty good. I love the linebacking pick, honestly, because Micah Parsons has already been taken. What do? You take the second best linebacker out of Penn State. The receiver is a good pick for who was on the board. I mean, there was no way they were going to trade up, so there's no way they were going to get a better receiver. So I definitely think that Rashad Bateman's a good compromise. And yeah, I love the linebacker and some of the later picks. So B+.
I'm gonna give it an A, like the same range as you guys, but I just feel really highly about Bateman and what's his last name from Penn State?
Owen.
Okay, Owen. And
Or
yeah, and Ty Wallace.
Oweh.
Owen.
And
Yeah, and record predictions, I'm going to give them they were 11-5. I'm going to give them 13-4. I think they could be good next year.
I'm gonna go with 11 and 6 again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go another 10-7 because they are losing probably their best tackle, so it's hard to fill in those gaps. So we'll see.
That's true. I think my prediction is kind of based on the fact that I'm predicting that Lamar's going to bounce back and be an MVP candidate again next year. So I see him kind of picking up the team a little bit. But yeah,
I think Lamar will have hints of MVP-ness. But
and I also part of this is because the Steelers I do not think are going to be as big of a threat. I think they can pick up 2 wins against the Steelers.
Ben Roethlisberger's
they had 2
done.
losses.
I'm sorry. He's
So that can be their 2 extra wins from last year if they beat the Steelers both times.
I don't think Ben Roethlisberger has another season in him. I'm sorry.
No. Well, he is going to play, so clearly he does have another season in it. But
I mean, the whole team's like angry at each other. Juju's still dancing and moving, and Ben Roethlisberger's old and has like fake body parts now because he's just crippled.
Yeah.
The running back that they selected in the second round, who was considered to be a Miles Sanders-esque running back, is already done. Pick up another running back. Najee Harris is going to get wasted because their offensive line has just lost all their characters. Their defense is going to get overlooked because their offense is going to be terrible. So, yeah.
Yeah, not a very good draft for the Steelers. We're gonna we'll see how we grade them when we get to them. Next up we got the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks in this draft. 3 of them came in the 6th round.
Back-to-back defensive ends, back-to-back offensive tackles. I mean, it's an interesting strategy, but Gregory Rousseau is just such an amazing player coming out of Miami. He's such a, like, when you think of a defensive end, you think of a big bulky guy usually. He's 6'7", 266 pounds, and he can move. Like, he's able to get off the ball. He's able to get like to the quarterback. I love how he uses his height and uses his strength. He's such a great player.
How's this for crazy? Carlos Basham was ranked as the 6th best D end. Gregory Rousseau was ranked as the 7th best D end. Yet Rousseau was picked in the 1st round and late 1st round, and Basham was picked late 2nd round. How does that work?
That position
Gregory Rousseau. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a bit biased, I guess, because Gregory Rousseau is a top 3 DN. He's not 7th.
Yeah, I don't know who made those position rankings, but clearly it was not the Buffalo Bills because they definitely had a choice between these 2 guys, and they went with Rousseau. And who knows? They could have been debating. They could have been debating whether or not it was going to be Basham or Rousseau, but they get them both.
Gregory Rousseau definitely has more upside, I would say.
It took a couple of O tackles, a 6'8" offensive tackle. That's pretty tall for an O tackle. So that's going to be 311 pounds. So he's a big, bulky guy. If he can learn how to master that, he's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Another O tackle here, 320 pounds. Wow.
Whew.
And then they took a 5'10" cornerback. So there we go. Another, in my opinion, short cornerback.
He was supposed to go 124, and he went late 6.
So that could be a steal. He did kind of fall to them.
It
Any
could
other
be
crazy picks? Yeah,
not
nothing else.
really. I feel like I
Most
don't
of
know
these
if
guys.
the doubling up is kind of weird in my opinion, but I like how they doubled up. Like of all the double ups to do, doubling up on defensive ends and doubling up on offensive tackles is the way to go because you have two
They knew
defensive ends
exactly
and
what
you
they
have
needed.
two offensive tackles. So definitely, way to go.
They
Way to
knew
go, Buffs.
exactly what they needed and they went for it. All right. Final draft grade.
I'm
B
gonna
minus.
give him an A.
I'm gonna give them a B plus.
I'm gonna give him an A.
And predictions.
Let's see, they went 13-3. I say they go 13-4.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
13 and
12
4.
and 5. I'm gonna go 12 and 5. Nothing against them. I just think that their division won't be as easy next year. With,
Oh, no way.
The Dolphins will be improving and the Patriots will be improving. So
I'm interested to see what the Jets rack up.
there's a chance. I think I'll say 12 and 5, maybe 11-6, but probably 12-5. They're gonna be good again.
Yeah, definitely. That defense is gonna be solid.
Then we got Carolina Panthers. They went with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 picks. That was the most out of any team this year. 3 sixth rounders, 2 fifth rounders, 2 third rounders. J.C. Horn was their first one, a 6'1" cornerback, so a good size, good player. He wasn't ranked ahead of Patrick Surtain, though. He's position ranked number 2. Why do you think they went with Horn over Surtain? Well, maybe it's because, according to inside NFL sources, J.C. Horn is actually a lot better than Surtain, and all the rankings got it wrong.
In my opinion, I felt like there's no way Carolina can back up its offense on Sam Darnold. I'm sorry, but he's already broken. And so if I were Carolina, I would have gone quarterback or the best cornerback in the draft. And I feel like still having the Alabama cornerback on call, the best cornerback, you should have gone with him instead of J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn is still a good cornerback, but when you have a better player or with better upside and a better talent and better height on the board, I would say go with him. I like their later picks, definitely. They make some good selections with Terrence Marshall. I like Terrence Marshall, honestly. And, going with the offensive tackle and the tight end. I feel like J.C. Horn's an iffy pick. They still got a good corner, but when you have a better corner on the board, I would say take him.
I saw
it could have been because he's from South Carolina, so he's right there. Maybe
I
there's
saw I saw the debate you guys had on J.C. Horn, how he got picked in front of Patrick Surtain. Me personally, I like him better because I like how he's more physical than Patrick Surtain, even though they're both physical corners. He has a more aggressive aids, can play press better than Patrick Surtain. It's basically preference. The Panthers picked him because he's more athletic, basically. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't seen much film from J.C. Horn. I've never really watched a South Carolina game.
All the film they used for the wide receivers was were wide receivers burning J.C. Horn.
No,
Jamar Chase's clips and Jalen Waddle's clips were both them burning J.C. Horn.
Hey,
and then all of tight end out of Florida. What was his name again?
He literally had
all of Kyle Pitts' draft clips.
Kyle Pitts had one catch against him.
Kyle Pitts draft clips they showed on their television. There was two or three. There was 2 or 3 that were both against J.C. Horn, and it was him being aggressive.
He had one catch. He held him to one catch. One catch.
I like the Keith Taylor pick as well because he is from Washington. That's the college team I root for. So good to see a Washington guy going off the board. This guy's probably not going to play because obviously I like J.C. Horn a lot better. But
I like him because he's really underrated because he has 0 picks. So people are looking at him like he sucks. But that doesn't make a corner. I think he's really undervalued and he'll play
0
really
picks,
well.
But I was a great corner.
And then obviously we know how much Alex thinks Terrence Marshall could be just.
He's got pizzazz. He's got
Yeah.
some high heels to fill.
Yeah, hopefully he can help out Sam Darnold. Brady Christensen, offensive tackle from BYU. You never really know how these BYU guys are going to turn out. They really reached on this one. He was ranked at a 39 grade, 238 overall ranking, and they took him in the early third round. So that's definitely a reach. Over 100 spots higher than he is ranked as. So I don't know how I lucky about that one. Tommy Tremble, from Notre Dame, tight end, probably a backup tight end for them. Chuba Hubbard, a running back. He's supposedly pretty good. And then they also took a long snapper. I don't know why teams take long snappers.
The best long snapper.
Number 1 overall long snapper,
Whoa,
Thomas Fletcher. And of course he's from Alabama, because why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't Alabama have the best long snapper?
Pro Bowl long snapper right there.
He's accurate. He started every game of his college career. He's on the smaller side,
Wait,
but with
every
average top end speed.
Wow, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Honestly, for a
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he played every game. I mean, you think those long snappers would get injured. All right, so final grade for these guys. I'm gonna give them. I like this draft a lot, actually, but this Brady Christensen pick is just kind of confusing to me. So I want to say B-. They should. You're right. They should have drafted a cornerback, Alex.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you, B- as well. You can't trust Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. It's a new team, yes, but when a quarterback's gone through that much, he's kind of done.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why Carolina traded for him in the first place. I would have kept Teddy Bridgewater 100%.
Oh yeah, totally. If I'm Carolina,
if you're sticking with Sam Darnold this year, I mean, seriously, Teddy Bridgewater's got so much more upside.
Bridgewater's older, and Sam Darnold does have more potential. He was a higher pick, and he's only played for 3 years, and it was with the Jets. So maybe there's a reason that they.
But the Jets had like the equivalent weapons to the Carolina Panthers. I mean, think about it.
That's true.
Sam Darnold played with Robbie Anderson for 2 years. Robbie Anderson now moves to Carolina, so that's equal. You have Curtis Samuel, who can be compared to what's his name? The short. Oh God.
Yeah,
what's his name?
The slot.
Yeah.
He's
Crew. You know what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Predictions.
Oh, Jamison Crowder. There we go.
My prediction, I'm gonna say 5-12. If they had Teddy Bridgewater, this is a team that could compete. But this is a Sam Darnold, so I'm going 5-12.
I'm gonna go 5-12 as well. I'm gonna go 4-13 even.
I was gonna say 4-13, and they just need to pick Spencer Rattler in the next draft, basically.
Yeah, get an active quarterback.
Maybe that's their master plan all along.
I feel like what they're missing is a running quarterback, and I mean Cam Newton's bad now. I mean he's just not great anymore.
No.
But when he was with the Panthers, he could run up and down teams. He was like Lamar Jackson. I think what the Panthers are missing is that running type quarterback, and Sam Darnold's not going to give that to you, and neither is Bridgewater, but I would still take Bridgewater in a heartbeat.
All right, so we've been going for a full hour here, and to be honest, I don't think any of our fans want to watch a video that's over an hour, so I think we're going to have to call it over for the night. We only made it through 8 teams.
Can we make the Browns and the Eagles, and then we go?
Well,
because the Browns had a good draft.
I was thinking maybe we could just do a part 2.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we can do a part 2.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We can get Drew on maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
If he ever learns how to, check his phone.
I heard that he didn't feel well after his vaccine.
Yeah, but that was like 3 days ago. He was at school today. He sat next to me, and I played against him in basketball during passing period. So I know he's not sick.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is.
We'll do a part 2 then.
Yeah, and all the fans wish Drew luck. He's starting his basketball season, so make sure you give him.
Is he still playing point guard? He's playing point
yes,
guard, right?
yeah, he is.
Oh, the
nice,
little
Drew.
point guard. Oh, my little Drew.
Yeah.
That boy can dribble, though. That boy can dribble. His handling
the
is
good old
good.
days of
Mhm.
basketball with Drew and Will. And
I could
Lucas.
never block him, and I'm twice his size. I don't know how his release is like.
Lorenzo was the slowest layup basketball player.
Hey, yeah.
The bong, the bong, the wing.
I wasn't. Hey, I was like Dennis Rodman. All I did was play defense and rebound.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's kind of like me, to be honest. I'm not the best shooter myself.
Oh, I'm a good shooter.
Oh damn,
Oh, I
my
can hit
camera was down.
anywhere
Jesus.
on the paint.
Yeah,
Anywhere in the paint.
I'm a
You
one
mean
sport athlete,
3-pointers?
but not
Oh,
basketball.
I can hit threes as well.
Yeah, you went like 3 for 13, like James Harden.
All right, well, I think that is going to wrap up the video. So, guys, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, congratulations. You just watched a full hour of draft coverage. And to be honest, this is probably better coverage than you're going to see anywhere else. So,
Oh yeah, big time.
make sure you like the video, subscribe, and make all your comments. I do agree that 5'10" is short for a cornerback. We want to know your opinions. And which of these teams was the best? Which of these teams are the worst? We all kind of agreed that the Falcons had a good draft, right? We all agreed about that. We all agreed that the Seahawks was a little interesting, and there's some other ones that
They had 3 picks and they kind of just.
Yeah. And yeah, I think what was the other team? We were all a little bit low on the Panthers, right?
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I said B.
Well, considering that I don't think any of us gave a grade lower than a B minus.
I gave a C minus.
Oh, really? Who'd you give that to?
Who did I give a C minus to?
The Broncos.
One of
No,
the first teams, I think.
no, not the Broncos.
Was it Arizona?
Cardinals, maybe.
Somebody was low in Arizona.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Well-
guys, stay tuned for part 2. That'll come out soon. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. And this has been the NW Sportscast.